6. NRA. Billy Betchell built tanks, big ones. They had caterpillar threads and cannons on the front and swiveling machine guns. They were effing impressive, that's what they were. When anyone asked what Billy did for a living, he said, "You know the Betchell military yards outside Abilene? I work there," and watched their eyebrows jump. It got so Billy started wishing his job was as cool as it sounded. Billy's job was to check steel plates to make sure they weren't buckled. How it worked was a forklift came and dumped a load of plates in his area, and Billy checked them with a metal ruler. Then another forklift came and carted them away. If he found any warped ones, they went in a separate pile, and then Billy showed up for work the next day. They were gone. Most of the guys on the Betchell site worked in teams, but Billy was stuck on his own. It was driving him nuts. After he'd been there a few months, he let a plate with a pucker at the edge go through, just to see what would happen, but nothing did. Someone was now driving around a tank that leaked when it rained, he guessed. After that, he let a plate go through that was almost split in half, and a guy from welding came in and yelled at him. He took up smoking so he could hang around with some of the other workers, and that's when he met the shooters. There were 10 or 12 of them, and they met after shift 3 times a week. "You should come along," one of them told Billy. Looking him up and down, Billy was young and blonde and worked out a lot. "You'll have fun." So Billy went, and it was fun. He discovered he was a good shot. He had done something as a kid growing up on a farm, but then his dad died, and his mom moved them to Dallas, where there hadn't been much call for shooting after that until now. We're on the black blocks of the Betchell military Abilene site. Billy earned the respect and admiration of his coworkers by clocking torso-shaped targets from farther out than anyone else. Things were good then. Sometimes even the forklift driver stopped to talk to him. Then came the bad news. The foreman gathered them all in Hangar 1. Among the scaffolding and half-assembled tanks, and a guy from head office said, some guy in a suit said, "Unfortunately, due to cost pressures, then there's a lot of stuff about competition and efficiencies and how painful it was for management to make tough decisions." But what it came down to, the workers agreed afterward, was, "You can all F out now." Billy was out of a job. They gathered out front and stood around uncertainly. They beat about management and wondered what they would do now. Some of them talked bitterly about the days when there were unions, and crap like this wasn't tolerated. One of the shooters clapped Billy on the shoulder and said, "What about you, champ? What are you going to do?" "I think I'm going to go away somewhere," Billy said, surprising himself. True, he had saved up enough for a working holiday. He had wanted to travel outside of Texas, but that was a long-term goal of the sort he'd never expected to actually accomplish. The shooting thing had really developed his self-confidence. "I always wanted to go skiing, you know. Maybe I'll go somewhere and learn how to ski." The men roared with laughter. "Hey, get this, Billy the Kid's going skiing." The men around him erupted. Hands clapped him on the back. "Good on you, Billy," someone said, and someone else said, "We should all go effing skiing." And they thought it was terrific. Billy realized they thought he was sticking it to Betchell management. For a construction worker in Abilene, Texas, skiing was about as exotic as you could get. It was like going to Disneyland. "That's the way, Billy the Kid," the man said. "He learned to ski." He thought he'd go to Sweden because of the ski bunnies. He imagined days of riding steep white slopes by day and gentle white curves at night. The travel agent told him it was impossible to work there. Sweden was a non-USA country. Billy couldn't believe it. He didn't even think countries like that existed anymore. "Oh, sure," the agent said, who was a girl Billy had dated in high school. She still chewed gum. "There are plenty. Most places you don't want to go, of course." "So where could I go?" "How about Singapore? Singapore's real nice. I can get you a great price on not a Singapore," Billy said. He was pretty sure this travel agency had some kind of deal with Singapore. They tried to talk everyone into visiting. "I need somewhere with mountains. I want to go skiing." "Skiing?" Her eyes widened. "Yeah." "Wow, okay then." She poked at her computer. "Well, there's Alaska. That's right up north, and Canada, of course." Billy was hoping for something more exotic. "Anything farther away?" "Okay, let me see." Billy waited while she flicked through screens. "You want to go to New Zealand?" "Where?" Billy said. But he liked New Zealand. He really did. At first, he was apprehensive. It was so far away, tucked down in the bottom of the world like something Australia coughed up. But he landed in Auckland Airport, and the people spoke American, and there was McDonald's and Coca-Cola machines everywhere. He felt relieved. It was a USA country, after all. He was feeling good when he asked the hotel concierge about the best places to ski, and the guy laughed so hard he had to sit down. "Ski season," he said. "Buddy, you're too late. It's spring." "What are you talking about?" "Come on," the concierge said. "You know the southern hemisphere was backwards seasons, right?" "You're crapping me," Billy said, but the concierge wasn't. The concierge was telling the truth. He couldn't believe it. Spring in October. Who would have thought? Hoping to catch the last vestiges of snow, he caught a ferry to New Zealand, South Island, and a bus down to Invercargill, where it was freezing all year round. On the bus, he met some backpackers from Massachusetts. They wanted to go somewhere exotic, they told Billy. They wanted something different. We've done Laos, Thailand, everything, one of the girls said. You know the first thing when they saw when we got off the boat at Koh Phangan? A Starbucks. She looked disgusted. Everything's Americanized. We should have stayed home. Yeah, right, Billy said, although he didn't see what was wrong with being able to get good coffee in Thailand. The girl was pretty cute. I'm here for the skiing. We could get a package together, maybe skiing, The girl said, no sanitized experiences, thank you. She wasn't so cute. He disembarked alone in Invercargill and walked the main street looking for a cheap hotel. But first he came across an NRA office, a squat, professional-looking building with National Rifle Association Limited embossed in black letters on gray. He looked at it for a while, then he went in. He was browsing the bulletin board for local shooting ranges when the receptionist said, Would you like to join the local chapter, sir? Billy looked at her. She was young and blonde, wearing a blue sweater. It fitted her nicely. If you're going to be staying in town, she smiled. Crumpled on a dark desk beside her was a ski parka. I'm staying, Billy said. He was on an NRA shooting range cast of Invercargill when they approached him. There were two of them, both wearing blue shirts. Neither of them seemed to be carrying guns. Billy nodded at them as he reloaded his rifle. He bought it at member discount prices, a Colt M4A1 carbine. M4A1 carbine. Sleek and heavy, 30 rounds to a clip. Nice shooting way, the men said, smiling. It had a detectable accent, which was rare. Most New Zealanders just sounded as if they were from California. His hair was slicked back. Both men were wearing sunglasses. Thanks, he slotted the next clip in. You guys shooters? The man glanced at his competition. Yeah, you could say that. You're Billy Betchel, right? You're new here? Yep, he fired. I stopped dummy 100 meters away, spat a puff of feathers from its head. Funny, I didn't know Betchel had anything going on down here. Billy looked at him. The truth was, he wasn't Billy Betchel anymore, of course. He was just Billy, unemployed wanderer. But it was too embarrassing to announce yourself without a surname. People thought you were a bum. I'm on vacation. Right, seeing the sights, getting to know a few of the locals. He wondered if they dared the NRA receptionist. He wondered if they knew he dated the NRA receptionist. They'd gotten a little hot and heavy last night in her car. Maybe one of these guys was her father. He tightened his grip on the rifle. Well, Billy, we'd like you to work for us. And who are you? The NRA, the man said and smiled broadly. It was creeping Billy out a little. You'd be surprised what we're doing these days, Billy. You really would. The NRA isn't just about pamphlets and gun shows anymore. We need men like you, the second guy said. Men just like you, and we pay well. Yeah, for what? The man turned and looked out at the target. Billy could see the dummy reflected in his sunglasses. That's some nice shooting, all right. It's really nice shooting. 7 Mercedes-Benz. Woo, a broker said, sloshing champagne on his arm. Crap, sorry, bye. That's okay. Come on, loosen up, she took his arm. They'll approve your trades, I'm sure they will. Bai was sitting on one of the desks, his tie slung. He had averaged 4 hours of sleep for the last 5 days. Around him, brokers drank and laughed and shook hands. It was 6:15 on a Friday, October 31st. The financial year was officially over. I am loose. Leave him alone, Cameron said, putting a hand on Bai's shoulder. Cameron was the floor manager, and he would be sacking Bai in a few minutes, Bai suspected. The guy's put in a heroic week. Well, the suspense is effing killing me, the woman said. When do we find out if they're kidding him? Don't say you're expecting the call any minute. Lisa, Cameron said, as soon as I know, I'll announce it. Well, I think you did the right thing, Bai. That was a gutsy move, promising to eat the commission if the stock fell. Really gutsy. She looked her arm through his. A few of us are hitting the bars tonight. Want to come? I think you should. I want to go to bed, but thanks. Okay, she took her arm back. See you Monday. I hope. When she left, Bai said, Am I fired? Cameron considered. Depends whether they want to make an example out of you more than they want to book your trades. Maybe they'll only disallow mutual unity, Bai said. Just enough to push me under quota. Bai, we don't fire everyone who misses quota. We missed quota but wasn't fired. I'm saying theoretically, Cameron said. It's not automatic is what I mean. Oh, Bai said. Cameron, call from head office. Everyone stopped talking. Thank you, Cameron said. His office was up some stairs and glass encased, so he looked over at the trading floor. Everyone watched him ascend. Well, Bai said, it's been fun working with you. He felt giddy. There was a knock on glass. He looked up. Cameron had his phone tucked under his ear. He gave Bai a thumbs up. He felt himself go faint. People surrounded him, slapping him on the back and shouting. Relief rushed through him like a physical thing, and then he couldn't stop laughing. All he wanted to do was sleep, but halfway home, the Chadstone Walmart Mall called out to him. He deserved something to celebrate after today, didn't he? He deserved something really expensive. I turned to the wheel. Inside the mall, he found a bank of ATMs installed at the base of a series of mezzanine floors like peons gathered to stare up at a glass sky. A Mercedes-Benz dealer was conducting a raffle in the center, and By looked at the cars with interest. He had 2 cars already, but his sob was no longer current year. Maybe he deserved a new car. A dark-haired schoolgirl was taking forever at the terminal. He peered over her shoulder. She was getting out alone. He sighed. The girl glanced at him. I can't get it to work. With alarm, By saw tears forming in her eyes. I've been trying. I really need... Maybe you should try a different machine. None of them will loan to me. How much do you need? $5,000? Oh, he smiled sympathetically. She stood there a moment. By thought she might be about to scream, then she walked away. He stepped up to the machine and inserted his card. His current balance was a little over $100,000. On impulse, he looked after the girl. She was pushing through the shoppers, heading for the exit. He pulled out $500 bills. $1,500 bills. Then he hurried after the girl. Hey, she didn't turn until he put a hand on her shoulder. Hey, here. What? A present. Her eyes widened, staring at the cash. Vi felt elated, better than he had in months. Go on, take it. Get yourself something nice. Her hand crept up and wrapped around the notes. Why would you do that? I'm celebrating. Thank you so much. OMG, thank you so much. What's your name? Haley. I'm Haley to McDonald's. I'm Vi. He said, have fun. 8. Violet Enterprises. Hack was jumping his H tonight, and he was driving Violet nuts. She was working 16 hours a day to finish her software, and with 2 days to deadline, she didn't have time to talk him out of his tree again. There was a lot riding on this. It was her big chance. 3 months of coding based on a year's worth of research and an idea so brilliant it had stopped her dead in the street one day. She couldn't throw that away to deal with Hack's latest drama. Hack started tapping his foot, jiggling her laptop. Hack, please. I'm sorry, he looked at her plaintively. It's not your problem, Hack. I'm killing somebody, he whispered. You're not. You passed on a job. It's nothing to do with you. He started jiggling his foot again. Have a drink, Violet said. Go down to the supermarket, go buy some drugs. I don't want to. Then do something else. I don't have time for this. He looked at her screen. He resisted the urge to snap the lid shut. You're working on your program? Yes, it's security software. This wasn't strictly accurate, but it was less complicated than the truth, which was the virus. Non-technical people had trouble appreciating Violet's vision. Need any help? No. She forced herself to say, thanks. Okay. He walked over to the window and looked up at the sky. Violet went back to her code. She was almost lost in it when he said, I hope it's snowing nice. I'm sure it's not, Hack, she said, not really paying attention.